People who got fired for the stupidest reason. What happened? I was driving cars for a shady dealer. Under the table while I was laid off from my real job, got a call that my uncle had attempted suicide and was in a psychiatric ward in the local hospital and wouldn't talk to anybody else but me. Told boss I had to roll. He said something like, "Your job comes before family. If you leave, don't come back." I left. The next morning he called and asked me why I wasn't at work. I hung up on him. Someone was stealing from the register. I got blamed. Turned out to be the owner's brother, who blamed it on me. I was let go just before Thanksgiving. I never got my job back, but the owner did apologize months later. I broke my hand and got fired for asking to take a day off to go to the doctor. I never called in there once in the 5 years I worked there. What common foods in your country are considered delicacies by foreigners? It was supposed to be caviar, but now it's also unaffordable for us, cries in Russian. Avocados here in Mexico, pretty common and cheap. Hawaii has somehow turned spam into a sought-after food, especially by visitors from Japan. A good baguette. I've seen American tourists walk out of a bakery with like 12 of them. Slow down, dude, they are made all day long, you don't need that many. Pina coladas, I guess. Here in Puerto Rico you can get them absolutely everywhere with or without alcohol. It's mostly just a refreshing drink. Not just my country but my locality, scallops. Butter chicken. As an Indian staying in Europe, I hate butter chicken because it has taken over Indian cuisine in Europe and Noon wants to try the real stuff. What's a scam most people don't even realize is a scam? By the amount of Facebook and Instagram posts promoting them, MLMs. I'm most intrigued by the vague life coaching ones who use lots of big words and mention specific figures they have supposedly earned, but there is no clarity on what exactly they do. Printer ink. Diamonds. Diamonds are a fairly common gemstone, but the world supplier of them is a monopoly and they hoard the majority of their stock to jack the prices up. Emeralds, rubies and sapphires are actually rarer than diamonds but cost less because of this. 0.99 cents at the end of pricing. $60 for a port of Skyward Sword on the Nintendo Switch. When stores ask you to donate at checkouts, they're using it as a tax write-off. Insurance. You're obligated to get it legally, but when you actually need it, they'll do everything in their power to not pay out. What do people think makes them look cool, but actually makes them look like a douchebag? Being proud of not reading a book since high school. I have a co-worker who has the gift of gab and is very proud of his ability to give people false assurances while being extremely vague, essentially just bombarding them with words until they're satisfied. It's a useful trick, I suppose, but when you hear him do it in real time, you realize he's just a very good liar. Constantly telling people about the women they've slept with or were otherwise involved with. I knew a guy like this in college. He was one of the most obnoxious dudes I've known. "It's just a prank, bro, it's just a prank," said by every douche about to get their ass kicked because they pushed too far. Being mean to serving staff. True. It doesn't make you look assertive, it makes you look like an asshole. What screams rich a-hole? I was in a meeting with the medical director for my old company a few years back. He was telling a story how he refuses to put a front plate on his fancy sports car and would rather just pay the $200 fine every time he got written up for a ticket. At the time I was broke and taking a series of buses and trains to work. Had a rich guy ask me once what my favorite brand of water was. Great Value? Just wait till you hear from my lawyer. Do you even know who my dad is? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my family is? Kids who complain when their parents buy them their first car. This mentality, parking tickets aren't tickets. They're just the price it costs to park there. Divorce creditors. What is the craziest thing you or your former spouse did after divorce? My ex stole a car and did 18 months in state prison. Based on what I was able to find online at the time, he approached a car dealership and showed interest in buying a vehicle. They allowed him to take it home for a 24-hour demo. He never returned it. They reported it stolen after they attempted multiple times to contact him to return it. They then contacted the state police, who put a bolo out. They found him driving the vehicle on the other side of the state where he thought he wouldn't be found. I found out when I got an unexpected phone call from the sheriff's office. I asked why they were calling me about this. They said my ex. I told them I would vouch for him as a character witness. I told the officer over the phone that my ex was a lying sack of shit and shouldn't be trusted. The officer laughed, thanked me for my time and hung up. Here's a more wholesome and true one. He had Sunday dinners with my mom for many years after our divorce. He never had a real mom, long story, so I didn't mind sharing mine as long as I didn't have to be there. After sex she asks, "What are we?" How do you reply? "Married. Are you okay?" But do you like me? Fair question to ask a spouse occasionally. Satisfied. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. Who are you? Depends. If she isn't my wife, then we are in trouble. What do you want us to be? Idiot sandwiches. Also known as your free trial has expired. What popular sayings are actually bullshit? The lightning never strikes twice in the same spot. Yes, it does. Especially if that spot is a high metal structure, it will be struck twice, even more than just 2 times. If you keep doing that, son, you will go blind. Dad, I'm over here. People only use 10% of their brains. Sleep like a baby. A more accurate description for it would be pissed the bed twice and woke up screaming. The customer is always right. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Only one way to find out. Lawyers, solicitors, what is the strangest or oddest law that's won a case for you? I had a case where a guy was charged for running a red light. The thing is, he had been sitting at the lights for 5 minutes and it hadn't changed. The wording of the specific section under which he was charged related to stop signs and traffic lights and referred to them as traffic regulation devices. I successfully argued that as the traffic light wasn't changing, it wasn't regulating traffic, and he got off. I couldn't believe it when the judge ruled in my favor, neither could the police prosecutor. A guy got drunk and decided to ride his horse through town. This was a small town in North Carolina. Well, he would stop at each intersection and fire his pistol in the air like some Wild West cowboy. Anyway, the guy was charged with a DUI and discharging a firearm within city limits, which was a felony. So as one would soon find, it is not just mandatory but a law that you must fire your firearm into the air at an intersection when coming through town on your horse. An old blue law that never got erased. He still got the DUI and his horse got impounded, but the dumbfounded judge dropped the other charges. What is your biggest non-academic, non-work-related accomplishment? Running the table at pool where after the other person broke and I sank every single one of my balls in the 8-ball in one turn. I'm not usually good at pool. A stranger came up to me, said it was one of the greatest things he's ever seen. I think about this often. Lol. Managed to strike out the gym teacher during a softball match. An artist at a major animation studio saw my fan art and shared it on their Tumblr. They commented on how funny they thought it was. That was years ago, but it felt great. Not that exciting, but I'm still pretty proud, winning a blue ribbon at a state fair for my strawberry jam. My husband loves to brag about it, and it makes me feel pretty special when he does. Lost over 100 pounds to do an Ironman triathlon and also compete and place in a bodybuilding competition. If you like these entries, please do like and consider subscribing to us, and hit that bell notification icon. And we'll see you in the next one.